Oh my goodness, that was bright, wasn't it? The flash of light that came on.
Yeah.
Okay, so this little guy is homesick. He's got a really bad sinus infection and his cough is horrible. And my cough is pretty bad too. Mine is probably aggravated by sinuses as well. So we're wearing a wig. We look so fashionable.
Yeah, her wig is pretty cool.
I wanted to make a really quick video because I saw something the other day and I wanted to talk about it. I watched a video on BuzzFeed about people who had lost a parent and how they felt about that and everything, and I was reading through the comments and there were so many young people who lost their parents at a very young age, who I just feel compelled to tell them as a parent that has a terminal illness that, you know, one day this will take me from my children. And I just want to let anybody know, especially if your parent passed away from cancer, because that's where I'm coming from. Never for 1 second think that your parent wanted to leave you. They fought very hard, whether it was 1 round of chemo or 20. They would have much rather have watched you grow up. Just like I would do anything to stay here and raise my children.
I know. Her dream was to stay with our dad over 100 until they die and get really old together.
I did.
I wanted that to happen, and I'm only 8 and she has cancer.
And it's hard on them because Devin told me that he had a bad dream about me last night.
Yeah, like the night she was dying, it wasn't a good view in my dream. I was in bed and then I woke up and I saw Mom just, it was so quiet in the room and I heard Dad crying, plus Caden. So I went into Mom's room and she was dead.
And see, that kills me because he's only 8. He shouldn't be dreaming about that stuff. He should be, you know, worried about playing video games and playing with your friends and going to school and having fun. And Caden's been having meltdowns when I drop him off at school and everything. And I just want to reach out to anybody who's lost a parent to cancer or some horrible disease. You know, my friend LaDonna lost her mom to lupus, and you know, I've had those conversations like, what do you wish that your mom would have done? And so she says stuff like writing letters and stuff like that. And I have a book where I'm writing information down about me. I do videos, and I'm going to be working on cards soon, birthday cards for their birthdays and everything. But just know that if you've lost a parent to cancer or any other disease, that they would have loved to have stayed and raised you, and that they loved you very, very much. And don't ever for 1 second think that they gave up or anything like that.
No, because that'll feel really bad.
Yeah.
I know.
I tell him all the time, you know, my dad left when I was 10 months old, and I tell him all the time that the difference between my dad and me is that my dad chose to leave and not be involved in my life, and with me, I am not choosing to leave. I am being ripped away when that moment finally happens, and that's the difference. That I love yours. I love him, and I would do anything, and I know that your parent, if you lost one, felt the same way. Especially if you were young when that happened. I mean, I never for 1 second thought when I had him and Caden that I wouldn't be here to raise them. And I'm gonna, you know, hopefully I could be around for many years, but realistically, probably not. I'm gonna miss everything. I'm gonna miss driving, graduating high school, getting married, having kids. I would have made a wonderful grandmother. So I make these videos and I hope that it reaches someone, and just know that your parent loved you to the moon and back, and they would have done anything to stay here with you. And if you do, on another side of that note, if you do have a loved one or a parent or a sister or anyone going through cancer, and they verbalize that they are done, that they want to end treatment, do not, please do not make them feel guilty about that decision. I ran into a woman and was having a conversation with her, and she said that her dad has been fighting cancer for 5 years. Not that I'm going to end treatment anytime soon, don't worry. Her dad had been doing treatment for 5 years, and he vocalized that he was wanting to be done with treatment. And she was like, no, you have to fight. You have to fight for your grandchildren.
Yeah.
You have to fight for this and that. And I was like, whoa, don't say that. I know that as a loved one, it's really hard to hear somebody say that they're done with treatment, because you know that that means that very shortly they'll be gone. But he's been doing treatment for 5 years. He has been fighting. He has been trying. And now he's to the point where he's exhausted and he's ready. He just can't anymore. Don't make someone feel guilty for ending treatment. They've been fighting and they fought really hard. And coming to that decision to end treatment is not easy. You know, I have those moments every Monday when it rolls around. I don't want to go to chemo.
I bet not.
I don't, because chemotherapy makes me feel bad and
was tired
and everything else. But then look at this face. How can I not go to chemo? So I'm not there, but if you know someone who is, and they tell you that they're ready to be done with treatment, do what my friend did. They were driving to San Angelo, and her mom was like, you know, if I were in this car by myself, I could end it all right now. And she pulled over to the side of the street and she said, are you done with treatment? Are you wanting to not go to chemo today? And her mom said, I think I'm done. And she said, okay, you want to go home, or you want to go tell the doctor that you're done? And so they went into town and she fired Dr. Cherico. So she just told her mom that she loved her and that she was going to miss her and that she understood, and that's the right response. It's okay to be sad about someone ending treatment, but that's not an easy decision to make. And the last thing that someone that comes to that decision needs to feel is guilt. They definitely should feel loved and safe and non-judged. Yeah. But we're not at that point, are we?
No.
Because Mama's still fighting.
Yeah. She's been fighting a while.
For 2 years.
Yeah. In first grade it started. Then before first grade I had mostly a good life, but now mostly it's not that good as way back in the past. So,
because I don't take you out to do stuff as much, like go to the park or go swimming.
No.
And that's really hard on me too.
Yeah.
Because I would love to take you to the park every day and go swimming like we used to.
Yeah. If you've lost a family member that's died or something, and you really love them, it kind of hurts.
It does. I've lost my dad.
My grandma has had a second stroke, and me and Mom are falling apart really slowly.
For those of you who aren't on my Facebook or anything like that, last week my mother had another stroke. I knew something was wrong. She called the night before and was asking how to lower her blood sugar. She had already taken the shot, and it hadn't made a difference. And I'm not diabetic, so the only thing I could tell her, I looked it up online. I said, eat a spoonful of cinnamon. I don't know. And she really hadn't eaten anything bad that day. And her speech was slurred, but I was hoping that it was the blood sugar. But then the next day she went to the ER, and they did scans and everything, and sure enough, she'd had another stroke. So, and this stroke has affected her good side. the last stroke affected her whole left side, so she couldn't really move her leg very well. She couldn't use her arm. She chokes on everything because this left side of her throat is numb, and now the right side is very, very weak. It's not as severe as last year's stroke, but it's still pretty bad. So we're stressed. Between me being sick and Meemaw stroking, it's a pretty scary time. And I think that's why Caden has really been having a hard time with me dropping him off at school. And it doesn't help that Devin's been sick and he's been missing some school. So I hope that this video helped you feel a little bit better. I know that losing a parent is not easy. I was really upset when I lost my dad, but I really wasn't close to him. I was, however, very close to my grandfather, and that was a very hard loss. And I know that if he were still here, he would be in love with these boys. He would be so proud.
My mom says when I smile, I have dimples.
He also has my grandfather's middle name as his middle name.
Ray.
Ray. So every time I'm like, Devin Ray Cooper, I think, oh, my grandfather would just be cracking up. So just take comfort in the fact that your loved one loved you very much, and they would have done anything to not be sick and still be with you. And if your loved one decides that they're done with treatment, please do not make them feel guilty. This journey is hard enough as it is.
Yeah.
We don't need you telling us who we got to fight for, because we know who we fight for.
Yeah, we know who we fight for.
I fight for you.
And Caden.
And Caden and Dad. And Meemaw. And Buffy and Duke. So, check your boobs. Check your balls. And when life gets really overwhelming, just hug and kiss your loved ones. And remember, say it.
This too shall pass.
Yes. All right. Bye, guys. Give me a kiss.